Hey there, and welcome back. So today we're talking to Sam Daniels and Matt Messmer, and they are a portion, two-thirds of the leadership and ownership of the Fortify Group with Keller Williams Smart One and other branches. And we'll go into that in just a second. So thanks for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Yep. This is kind of our maiden voyage for a group podcast. And so thank you guys for being here to be the first one. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to use this forum to kind of let people know who we are, what we do, why we do it. And then we're going to also help people with a shortcut, right? We want to show people that, with the right leadership, the right attitude, the right plan, you can take a team anywhere you want. And we're going to expound on that in a minute on what you guys done because you've taken it to another level. So basically, we're going to talk about, what's the one thing your team does exceptionally well, because there's a lot of teams out there in the Keller Williams world and real estate in general. And so I want to know what you guys do exceptionally well that creates the majority of your growth and kind of how you've protected that as you've scaled, because that's kind of that's a touchy situation, right? Having enough business to support more people, but you can't get more business without more people.
Yeah.
So what's the philosophy on that? Because I can tell you, Sam and I were talking a while ago, you talk to realtors and people say, oh, it's a down market. Well, it's not a down market. In real estate, it's either a buyer's market or a seller's market. Now, volume may be down, but it's still going to be heavy to one side. It's never 50-50. So if you're smart and you have a plan, you can attack whatever is the majority of the business right now. So going back to my original question, what's the one thing that your team does really, really well? And what creates a majority of that growth, in your opinion?
I think our training is one of the high end things that we do for people and have mentorships and always have them availability to either get to me, Matt, Angel, Caitlin, or the other team leads in other locations, is being relatively available for them and give them the coaching and never let them feel like they're out there by themselves is one of the really important things we do.
Okay.
The staff we built too, we have an operations manager, we have a client concierge, we have a TC, we have ISAs, we have Caitlin, who is kind of our wingman system where she's helping new agents, walking them through the contract, how to type it, but she's not just doing it, everything virtually. She'll meet with them face to face. She can zoom in with them and do it step by step, which is a huge difference from what I feel other teams are doing. So the amount of staff we have in place, I think, really has structured the team to be very consistent.
Okay. And so when you guys, let's fall back a little bit. So you both have been with Keller Williams how long?
On and off for me, roughly 12 years.
5 years.
5 years. Okay. And so you guys were single agents, I assume, when you came in?
I've always been on a team.
Okay. So when you arrived here, did you decide to start a team or did you guys partner up right away? What was that conversation like? And what made you decide that you wanted to do that?
So me and Sam were high school buddies. Sam was actually in my wedding. I helped him sell his first house.
Yeah.
And at the time, he was doing another venture. I'll let him go into that in a second. And I kind of just talked him into flipping the script and coming on board and jumping into real estate. And here we are.
And we started, I was in the medical field for a while, and me and my wife were both on call or starting to call because she was starting the nursing. So it's like, well, both of us can't be working all nights and days. Right. So I took the leap and she was really excited. I took it when she was pregnant. So got to do it or you got to make it win or not. Right.
That's it. No pressure.
Yeah. So then we started a team shortly after that during her second pregnancy. I said, well, I'm leaving that brokerage. We're going to start a team now and go somewhere else.
So you guys had some familiarity with each other.
Yeah.
So there was an element of trust.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Which to me, when you're starting a team, now I had a team, not quite as big as yours, but I was the sole rainmaker. When you start a team, there's got to be an element of trust because then you throw in a third person, Angel, who's not able to join us. And maybe we'll figure out a way to bring him in virtually next time, which would be really cool. But when you guys started the team, what was the vision? Was it a 2-man show and we're just going to go do some business? Or did you guys have this mapped out? What did it look like? What was the vision? And then step one, what was that like as far as, taking it to where you want to?
Well, I've been on a couple teams before, and there were things that I liked about those teams and there was things I didn't like about those teams. So I really wanted to kind of pull the things that I liked from them and then build on them. Sam was a crucial part, I felt, to be able to get the business off the ground. I had a little bit of pushback from some people when I talked about bringing in partners that I didn't need those. But in my opinion, you're always better to have people that you can trust, that you feel bring a different aspect to the table, right? So the best part about me, Sam and Angel, is we all bring something different to the table, and we're all really good at what we do bring to the table. So we stay in our own lanes. We realize that, I'm good at one thing. I'm going to stick to that lane, and I don't try to interfere with anything Sam or Angel are doing. So that's something that we've always stuck to and just trusted how it works.
Yeah, you got to trust each other in doing their process, on that. And then the ground level is we build our office staff first before we really got agents. They'll kind of handle our loads and until they, I know a lot of people kind of probably do it backwards, get really busy, then get the office staff. We did it the opposite on that part. We wanted a good office staff so then we know we can grow and then we could fill in as we need it.
Okay. So obviously people and process, right? You want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. When you started adding staff, and we'll get into why Angel isn't here in just a second, but the staff that you have, how many people are on the team currently in-house?
As far as staff or actual agents?
So agents versus staff, like how many staff do you have for the agents that are here in our facility?
We have about 65 members of the team. Staff-wise, I guess if you're counting us three, myself, Sam, and Angel, then you have Alicia, Caitlin, Dana, Kim, 2 ISAs, and Haley. So 10 members of staff essentially, plus 2 additional team leads on top of that for the 65 agents.
For 65 agents. Okay. And at this point, what's your assessment on that? Are you guys good, or are there areas in your ecosystem that you have identified that need to be worked out?
Now we need the agents, right? We always bring the staff on first and then backfill with the agents. So we got plenty of staff now to start backfilling agents again.
So what you're telling me is it's not a down market?
No.
Right?
No.
When you need help, I mean that there's business to be had, right? So obviously you're going to run into the same kind of heartache that I run into as CEO and team leader of the whole organization, is that finding people that want to work, right? I think this is an HGTV world that we've lived in, this recent group, right? So we get people that come in and don't realize that they're running or going to be a part of a multi-million-dollar company, right? I mean, you can be 40, 50, 60, 70 million dollars a year that you guys are going to run just in-house here, not including the whole organization. So going to people, you've got great support staff. What is the criteria that you guys look for and scout out? And what are you seeing with this last 2 or 3 years, this group of agents? Because you guys provide opportunities. I don't like to call them leads. I like to call them opportunities, because an opportunity can go multiple ways depending on who's receiving that opportunity. So you guys provide opportunities to your agents. What does that look like? And what's the ideal person that you're looking for in your organization?
I feel like in general, a lot of agents have been kind of spoiled that have come into the industry since 2020, maybe, because everything was so easy, didn't even really have to work. Now that it is more of I wouldn't say a down market, right? Everyone is always going to need a house for some reason, but the market isn't moving as quickly. So people are realizing they have to put a little bit of effort into it. So I think just them realizing, that this isn't something that you just see on TV, that you make millions of dollars and you drive around Maseratis and wear nice suits, right? You actually have to put some effort into it. But we have set standards in team agreements that we actually go over and review with agents on the front end to set the expectation on the front end so they're not blindsided on the back end, right? We always want to be very transparent with what we expect from an agent and the type of culture that we're looking for to be the right fit. So it's, in my opinion, we're looking for quality over quantity. Yes, we could probably have 100 agents on the team and we have enough staff to cover that, but we don't want 100 agents that are just a rotating door in and out, because from a business standpoint, that actually costs us more money than it's worth doing.
Right. So obviously I have a saying, being a productivity coach and a coach in general, there's 2 things that you can't coach into somebody, which is attitude and effort. Everything else can be coached, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
absolutely.
And that's the hard part about what I think the missing ingredient is. And that's what the HGTV generation has done, right? Go look at 3 houses, go have coffee and pick one, right? That's Hollywood, unfortunately. So
yeah, the effort is hard. A lot of people don't want to give the same effort as, the ones that are successful. You can see the effort that they give. And we look at their standards and they always ask, we have some agents have been on the team. They've closed 24 in a year. And what are they doing? They're giving the effort. They're doing the follow-up. They don't just make the one phone call and say, all right, they're ready to buy, or they're not talking to me anymore because they didn't answer call number one.
Yeah. One call,
Yeah.
one text, one
Yeah.
email. I didn't get in touch with them.
And on the flip side, I see agents all the time, or I'll text agents, how you doing today? And they said, oh, I just showed my 15th house today. And in my opinion, that's also the other end of the opposite part of the spectrum, which is that's their gauge on whether or not they've tried, because they've done 15
busy.
showing. Right. I'm so busy. Right. So I think that is, people ask me all the time, what's the thing that you're looking for? And it's that fine balance between somebody that's hungry and somebody that puts in the effort and realizes that it's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Yeah. You
Right.
can't want it more than them.
Yeah, for sure.